It's a bit noisy here because of the cafe setting where this is all glass and we are enclosed, but people do walk outside. There is an elevator over there and a veranda over there. So, you know, people pass by, there's a little bit noise. So please do bear with us. But we are doing one of my favorite segments right now called Exploded and Compressed, where we first explode out a coffee using the origami dripper, which is great because of its high flow rate. If you want an origami dripper, get it from El Capitan. You can follow them on Instagram and we'll put their Instagram handle somewhere here. And we are using also Kalita wave filters, which we also get from El Capitan. We will explode out the tasting process and then we'll taste it on the espresso machine and let you know what we think. Our second coffee in this tasting pack is the Sitio Kisbong Garnica, which is a single origin and single variety coffee. So join us, let's taste it. All right, this is our exploded brewing process. The first thing that we're gonna do is we actually use hot water to heat up all of the cups. And I'm emptying the hot water now that the cups are heated up. The reason we do this is because we want a stable brewing environment in all 4 cups because we are going to be moving the brewer between the cups during the brewing process. We use the high flow rate on that dripper to be able to pour water through the coffee, brew it, and then move it from cup to cup, expanding out the brewing process and separating out the coffees that come out in the different stages of brewing. So we are using the compact E10 grinder, and it's one of my favorite grinders for espresso, but also for brewed coffee. I find that the grind distribution in terms of how many boulders and how many fines you get in the coffee are really nice in this grinder and makes for very tasty coffees, both espresso and pour over. And on its more coarse settings, it actually works really great for the origami dripper and for the V60. So now we're gonna pour coffee into all 4 and move the dripper as we brew. And in the first 50 seconds, I'm going to be adding 0 to 60 ml of water. So I'm trying to get all 60 ml in that first 50 seconds. So now we're moving it to the second cup. We've come up on 50 seconds and we're gonna now add water from 61 ml to 120 ml. So we're adding another 60 ml of water in the next 50 seconds. And we're gonna try and get all of that water to drip down. Now, even if the water doesn't all drip down in that 50 seconds, you want to move it to the next cup when you get to 140 seconds. The reason why is because this experiment is mostly about water contact with coffee time. So that's when the liquid dripping down is coming down at what time. Now I'm adding in the third cup. This is the next 60 grams, which will take us up to 180. And now that we come up on 2 minutes 30 seconds, we're gonna move it to the final cup and try to get another 60 ml in from 180 ml to 240 ml in that last 50 seconds of brew time. Now exactly at 3 minutes 20 seconds, you do want to remove that dripper as close to that time as possible. Again, because we're concentrating on water contact with coffee time. And here are our 4 cups. You can see kind of how the color has changed, how the volumes have changed across the 4, and that's our experiment. That's how we explode our coffees. So let's go back to taste them. All right, so we finished brewing our coffee over there. Now we're back over here to taste the coffee together. All right, this first cup is a very dark brown, which is what you're expecting for that first cup. It's very dense. So the first cup is always dense. This is the first 60 grams of water in. Now, from experience, this cup will be shallower than all of the other cups. Volumetrically, it'll be less because a lot of the water gets absorbed into the coffee during this stage. Give it a smell. Very intense. This is sweet off the bat. There is some intensity and acidity that's showing up here, but not clearly identifiable. It's still very compressed. Let's go to cup number 2 and see if we can find some more understanding here. You can see the color is slightly lighter and starting to become that nice red color that I personally like. I mean, it doesn't really always have that much of an impact on the flavor of the coffee, but it is, I just like the color. I like red. All right, let's take a sip. Very different from the first cup. This one has a lot of citrus notes. A similar orange note that I've tasted in some of the other Kalsada coffees, the other Benguet Kalsada coffees. The butteriness in the mouthfeel is definitely there. It's kind of a recurring theme between the two cups. Let's see if that continues. The first cup was sweet off the bat. This one kind of is mellowing out the sweetness, and the acidity is really shining through, starting to shine through on this second cup. Let's try the third one. All right, third cup, and this is kind of the most balanced color of the 4 cups. There's some herbal spiciness now showing up. It's very, very mild. It is reminiscent of a menthol, like white flower kind of tasty note. It's interesting. It's really interesting. I mean, those floral herbal notes are stuff that you expect from like top tier coffees. This one, it's very mildly there. Like, you have to kind of know what you're looking for to find it, because it doesn't really stand out. It's just, it's there, but it's not there with definition, if that makes any sense. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Right, last cup. This one is very light colored. It's kind of got an amber tone to it, and so I wonder if that will reflect in its intensity of flavor. Oh, wow. That mentholness really came out there. It's not bitter at all. It's not bitter. No, sorry. It is bitter, but it's like a good bitter. Kind of the way that like an Angostura bitter is a good bitter, or a chartreuse is a good bitter. This does have some of that, but it is kind of encapsulated in a nice sweetness. Yeah, as the dilution has gone up near the end of the brew process, that mentholness, that herbalness has really spaced out and given you room to taste it. I'm not sure if you would taste it all together. I'm really tempted to wet blend these, pour them all together, and kind of get what the taste is like. Why? Let's try it. All right, so now that I've put them all together, they're not really going to taste the same as if you had brewed them all together, because it's not the same reaction. Especially, well, in theory, some of the reactions are the same, but it's not going to be exactly the same, but it should be pretty close. The other situation is that I've sipped from all these cups, so they'll be at different ratios, but it should be able to give us a pretty okay idea of what it'll taste like altogether. That is really nice. That buttery mouthfeel is there. You have that buttery mouthfeel with the touch of citrus, and the menthol is very much there in the finish. I'm not sure if this is what I would identify as a clean cup, but the mentholness has a very clean feeling in your mouth, because I don't know, menthol is associated with clean teeth and a clean mouth, so that is quite pleasurable. All right, so that is the exploded and slightly compressed version of the Kisbong Garnica, the Sitio Kisbong Garnica. Next, let's try it compressed here on the espresso machine. We'll be right back. And we're back. So this is the color of the coffee. This is a Garnica, and we're gonna pull it in the espresso machine. Alright, all of our espresso shots are done the same way. They are 18 grams in, and then we use a 3-second pre-infusion and then a hold of about 22 seconds. I'm trying to remember now. I think it's 22 seconds. And then when that gets to 25, it's going to pull a relatively fast shot coming out. And volumetrically, it always goes up to 40 milliliters out. 34 seconds for our shot. Our out was 44.5. All right, so we'll give it a stir. And this is the Garnica Kisbong compressed. There's a nice orange peel in it. So it would appear that menthol, that very pleasant menthol taste, is here also, but it comes off as a bit more vegetal. This is a very interesting bright coffee. That mentholness is definitely there. It feels very clean and bright inside the mouth. Very buttery. And that's interesting because you get the butteriness in the mouthfeel, in the body, and then there's a lightness that comes from the flavor and not from the coffee itself having a light weight to it. So it still has a heavy body, a heavy weight inside your mouth, but for some reason there's a brightness. So I would identify that as a flavor and not as a textural characteristic of the coffee. It is very nice. This is a kind of coffee that doesn't have, well, in my opinion, the way we brewed it, compressed and exploded, I don't find that this is the kind of coffee that has very specific tasting notes, but has a generally very overall pleasurable amalgamation of different flavors that are not usually had together in one. For a single origin coffee, that's very interesting. Yeah, I would classify this coffee as interesting. It's unusual. I'm not sure if everybody will enjoy this day to day, but if you're into like unusual flavors for your coffee, this is really something. Both as espresso and as a drip coffee exploded method. All right, back to the box. This is the Sitio Kisbong Garnica. So Kisbong is the town, I guess, the Sitio in Benguet. This is grown between 1,400 and 1,700 meters above sea level. The variety, it is a single variety, Garnica. That's the name. And all of the other coffees are kind of mixed in their varieties. So some have Typica, some have red bourbon, and they put it all together. This is the only one that is a single kind of coffee, a single variety, Garnica. Maybe that very specific varietal is what's leading to that very unique flavor. I don't know, but that is my experience right now, and that's what we're doing in this kind of unboxing and tasting. Explosion and compression that's my experience. I like this coffee. As far as the tasting pack goes, I am enjoying the experience so far because the coffees are all from one place, but they have a very varied flavor profile across them. So usually you'll get a coffee and say, oh, this is a Kenya, right? This is a Philippines, this is a Benguet. But this is a Benguet of towns that are pretty much next to each other. We have to contact Kalsada and get kind of the geographic difference, but they're all from one area in the Philippines, right? In this one island, Luzon, in that area called Benguet. And just town to town, I guess, sitio to sitio, we're already tasting the variety of difference that we have. So yeah, good job with the tasting pack. If you are enjoying watching this expanded and exploded and compressed format, we are doing this entire tasting pack, which means that there are 4 episodes in total. So do make sure that you are subscribed on YouTube and following along at Daily Drink Mag on Instagram, and please do follow at Honeycomb Manila. What has been your experience drinking this coffee? Have you tasted it yet? Are you interested in getting it? If you are enjoying it, please do comment and click the thumbs up button. That does help us a lot. It's a small thing, but it goes a long way for us. And please do subscribe if you can. We have a lot of content like this, including our interview with Tere Domini that we did on our Let's Coffee show, which is our collaboration with Yardstick Coffee. Do follow at Yardstick Coffee on Instagram while you're at it. We do get to talk to Tere about her experience at the mill, at the farm level, working with these farmers. And she tells a lot of very nice personal stories. Watch that. It is a great episode. I believe it's our first episode of Let's Coffee. And you can find all of that on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Honeycomb Manila, or search Honeycomb Manila on your YouTube app. All right. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can just click on the thing somewhere here that says our username, and it'll take you right there to the page. We actually have a playlist of all of our Let's Coffee episodes. Thank you very much for watching. I am at Kayo. This is Honeycomb Manila, and this has been All Things Creative, Exploded and Compressed.